Welcome to Andorks, the podcast where every week we'll analyze and scrutinize the Star Wars series Andor 7 minutes at a time. My name is Rusteen Honardoost.
And I'm Alex Wallenetz.
And we have friends everywhere, and today we are joined by our friend Devin Meenan, writer at Slash Film. How are you doing, Devin?
Hi, Devin.
Doing good. Thanks for having me on the pod, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah, we work together over at Slash Film, and I read everything you wrote about Andor and loved it. So I want to ask you, what's your connection to Star Wars and how did you find Andor and what does the show kind of mean to you?
Sure. Well, so I'm a 99 baby, so Star Wars has always just kind of been in the background of my life. Obviously during my childhood, the prequels are coming out, so that's really how I got introduced to the series. And I think I've kind of been on and off with it since then. Kind of off after the prequels ended. Then once the sequel trilogy came around, I got on again for a bit. Then, not to kick this dead horse, but Rise of Skywalker kind of took the fun out of it for me. So I've been mostly off with it since then. Andor being an exception. I admittedly am a bit more of a recent Andork, because I actually did not watch season 1 when it first came out. I heard great things about it, and I thought, okay, I'll check this out, but I am a terrible procrastinator when it comes to TV, so I just put off watching it for so long, but then when season 2 came out this year, that gave me the kick in the pants to finally start it, so I watched season 1 in the build-up to season 2 coming out, and I finished the second season about when it came out. So, I'm a bit more of a recent fan of the show, but hey, what's not to love? I think it's just fantastically written drama. There's just not to put down other Star Wars, but I do think this one achieves a level of depth and political relevance that others have reached for, but I think this one really just grasps it, and so excited to talk about it.
I guess you're a little bit younger than me, and I won't be jealous. But I think you're the first person that we've talked to who was you said you were born in 99. So to you, the prequels are just Star Wars movies. They're not things that were added as extra context. Do you view, how do you view that? Do you view that's the first one, or do you still see it as that is the seventh one?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. I think you've kind of tapped into something else, because when I first knew Star Wars, Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones, the first ones I watched, and then I saw Revenge of the Sith as it came out in the theater. So, I think the prequels have kind of been normalized a bit more for me as what Star Wars is. So there's always a bit of a disconnect between me and the original trilogy, even if, as a older viewer, I can tell the original trilogy is definitely the better made set of films. But I think that is very true. That's a good point.
We have not had kids yet that we can raise with the machete cut. do you know the machete cut?
I'm aware of it. Haven't tried it yet, but I'm aware of it.
Was it 1, 2? No, you skip 1.
You do 4, 5,
skip 1,
2, 3, and then 6.
Yeah.
I have done that in a one-day marathon during COVID, and it is actually incredible. Although I watched Phantom Menace because I'm a big Phantom Menace defender. So I wouldn't excise Phantom Menace, but I guess you could if you wanted to save yourself 2 hours. It's interesting that you came to Andor late. Did you binge watch the entire first season, or did you break it up into arcs, or did you just kind of watch episodes as you found time for it?
A bit of option 1, bit of option 2. I think I didn't necessarily binge watch it all at once, but I did watch it whenever I had the chance to. I would say probably the third arc, the Narkina prison arc, is probably the one that I watched, because that one it watched in as an arc, because that one, I mean, it's hard to stop watching that one, and that's the one that kind of where the show really crystallized for me as something special. And then I think when it came to season 2, I did more of the arc by arc watching. So yeah.
And then a new question we're asking people: who's your glup shitto?
In Star Wars overall,
yeah,
or just Andor?
Yeah, in Star Wars overall.
I'm going to say Jedi Master Shak Ti, because I'm a fan of the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. She has a big part in that. So yeah, that's my answer off the top of my head.
No one has died more in Star Wars than Shakti.
Very true. Very true.
For anyone who doesn't know, she dies in the... I believe she dies in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars. She dies in the episode 3 deleted scenes.
Yeah, I don't know who this is.
2 deleted scenes.
There's 2 different deleted
I have to
scenes.
Google. I have to Google her. I do not know who this is.
She's like orange and has like blue and white like head tendril things, right, Devin? Am I describing her correctly?
Yeah, same species as Ahsoka from Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, she just keeps dying. It's like Spinal Tap drummers. Like, how many times can we kill Shakti? Cool. Well, with that, are we ready to dive into this episode?
Let's do it.
We've got a really awesome set of scenes here for part 4 of episode 4, Aldhani. Previously on Andor, Nemik and Skeen laid eyes on Vel returning to camp with an unexpected companion, and we now find Clem as he walks into the Aldhani camp to find a lot of hard stares coming his way, particularly from Skeen, Tamarin Barcona, and Cinta Kaz. Vel introduces Clem, saying through a stroke of luck, Clem has been able to fight his way free to join them on the mission, and rather than answer anyone's questions about why he's here, Vel quickly introduces Clem to the crew. Nemik is the only one who is glad to meet him, but as Tamarin tries to get answers out of Vel, she makes it clear that this is not up for debate. And there's 2 things that really stand out in this opening scene for us. Is Tamarin holding a Kalashnikov rifle, like an AK-47, is something that really, I think, tells you what the goal of the show is, like making this rebellion feel really down to earth. And the other is how shitty this camp is. Like, this is no Yavin 4. Like, it barely even looks like a camp. It's just like a couple open air tents, and that's it. So, seems like a really horrible place to live for 5 months.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it definitely looks short term. And I mean, that roll call you just did, I forgot how many characters are introduced in this episode. It's a big one for opening up the ensemble cast. And as you guys were discussing in your first episode, you know, it may be called Andor, but it's more than just Cassian's story. This show.
It's Clem's.
Yes, exactly. Why is it called Andor? It should be Clem.
They renamed the show based off whatever name he's going on at that time.
That would be amazing.
Each arc has a new name for a new Cassian alias.
Yeah, because especially the first time you're watching this show, there's no way to know which of these characters are going to stick around for the rest of it. You know, I remember when we met all these characters, I was like, oh, well, like, maybe they're all going to join the rebellion with Andor, and this is like the beginning of his team. But clearly by the end of it, you know, we see that not everyone is destined to survive.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. Yeah, because, I mean, this arc, it's both a war movie setup and a heist movie setup where he's got, like, his squad and the crew, and almost none of them make it out, which kind of presages Rogue One.
Yeah, absolutely. Something Star Wars has always done is like ape and make homages to like classic movie genres. And I think you're right that this is like Andor's version of doing like a Dirty Dozen or something. Like
yeah, a magnificent set. I mean, not a Western, obviously, but it is kind of that vibe of like, you know, a crew that doesn't really trust each other, all seem like they have their own stories, gathered together for a job, which, I mean, again, if we're talking Magnificent Seven, that goes back to Seven Samurai and Lucas loving Akira Kurosawa. It's all connected, but that's a rabbit hole we don't have time to go down.
No, we'll go when we eventually do the Acolyte. We'll do the Rashomon deep hole, the deep research. When will there be the Star Wars version of Ikiru? That is my question. The most depressing Star Wars product ever made.
Good question.
I mean, I'm literally looking now because I need to do some research as we go forward. But like the Gilroys have been like very clear that like this whole storyline is based off of when Joseph Stalin, the Bolsheviks, like robbed the train. So I need to like, I'm committing myself on air now to buying the book about it so I can better talk about it next week. So I'm sorry I can't talk about it at length now, but future me next week will have figured it out.
The gist of that story is, I believe it was like during the preceding
Yes, it's
the
like
Russian
1907.
Revolution. Yeah, that they needed funds, and so they started robbing trains, right?
I think there was the one big one where they like blew a lot of shit up. But so I'm ordering the book right now. The outfit, the absolute true story of the time Joseph Stalin robbed a bank. So this future Alex will be a much more literate man.
And I think that them taking influence from that historical event really shows that they're, not necessarily in the interest of, they're not out to sanitize the rebellion really as just these, plucky rebels. They're showing the nitty gritty of, and which will become a recurring idea as the show goes on. Like, as Luthen says, they have to use the tools of their enemies to defeat them. And the fact that they're pulling history from like real rebellions or real revolutions, even among people and historical figures that I would say have been not the type that Hollywood typically glamorizes.
Yeah.
I think that
saying it nicely.
for sure. But,
yeah, normally I feel like the comparison would be like Andor is like George Washington or something, but going for Stalin in your first post-premiere episodes is a really daring choice.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, Diego Luna is hot, and young Joseph Stalin is very hot.
He didn't play Che, right?
No, that was
in Motorcycle Diaries.
Wasn't that
is that guy?
Yeah, that's Garcia Bernal, isn't it?
Okay, yeah.
And then who played him in the Che movies? That's Del Toro, right?
Benicio del Toro.
Yeah, that's Benicio del Toro.
Have you seen that post that somebody was like, "How do I get my barber to cut my hair like Joseph Stalin without showing her a photo of Joseph Stalin?"
Well, Cassian Andor. There you go.
There you go. Yeah.
That's the answer right there.
Yep.
There is one moment I want to shout out where Vel is repeating everything that Luthen told her in the previous scene. Where she's learned well. Yeah. She's a company player. She says like, "Oh, I didn't mention him until now because I didn't want to get your hopes up." And she even repeats his line about how he's going to provide critical redundancies in all areas. And I think that goes to show how committed Vel is to Luthen early on. That like she is Luthen's eyes on the ground. And the fact that they are all keeping Luthen's presence a secret from the rest of the team starts to show us like why he trusts Vel if like she's willing to go along with this plan.
Mm-hmm. And so getting to the rest of the team, so we've got not to take over the summary duties, but so Skeen and Tamron are the ones that are really questioning Clem's place on the team. And watching it now with the benefit of hindsight, you kind of feel that like, yeah, Skeen is just concerned that like, or is this going to mess up my payday? So I just thought that's a detail that he only knows once his true motivations are revealed at the end of the arc, but definitely puts a new light when you revisit it, I thought, this time.
Well, this is actually a question I've been asking folks as we've been talking about these Aldhani episodes. Do you think that Skeen was always planning to betray the team? Or I personally think he has the idea after Nemec dies.
That's a good question. I think that's kind of speaks to the maturity of the show that it doesn't need to spell it out for you, and it lets you read between the lines of the characters. I think either is kind of compelling. I think maybe if I rewatched the arc in full, I'd have a more definitive answer, but I think it's also possible that just like seeing the money definitely made his eyes kind of shoot out of his head. So yeah, that's an unanswered question. We'll never know, just like Cassian won't. But yeah, I do think that's a compelling interpretation, Rusteen, for sure.
And just to shout them out, we meet two new members of the team. We talked about Skeen and Nemec last week. This week, we also see Taramin Barcona, who's played by Gershwin Eustace Jr., and Sinta Kaz, played by Varadu Sethu. I think so. Is how you pronounce it. And here...
She was very good on Doctor Who, on a season that did not deserve how good she was.
Which is actually why she has a smaller role in season two
that would make
of
sense.
Andor, was because she was filming Doctor Who around the same time, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, Doctor Who, another property that Disney, a wonderful corporation, knew exactly what to do with.
That's a
different pod. That's a different pod.
Different podcast. But here we do see
Doctor Who, where I go through Doctor Who 2 minutes at a time.
Yeah. The way Taramin talks to Vel, I think, tells us a lot about his character, that he's like trying to respect the chain of command. Like, he knows that this is Vel's responsibility. Like, she gets the last say, but he keeps asking, like, can I talk to you in private? Can I talk to you over there? And she knows she has to like put an end to it, because if they speak in private, she might let slip that she's not as on board. Whereas Cinta just watches the whole scene silently. I don't remember if she actually even like says anything in this first sequence here. But yeah, that's our introduction to the crew. After this, we land on Coruscant, and we get to see, as Wikipedia notes, the former Preox Morlana Deputy Inspector Cyril Karn, which is just so humiliating to poor Cyril. As he walked,
they didn't have to write down my business card. They took all my business cards and wrote former on it.
Yeah. They branded him with a L as he left, and put a "kick me" sign on his back.
What do you think the public transportation to space JFK is?
There's probably like a transport bus like we saw on Ferrix that like gets you there, and then maybe there's like a luxury subway that's like the more expensive, nice one.
Anyway, I have some. Well, before we move forward, I do have some important news.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
He walks through the airport lobby, there is an alien friend.
Yes.
Standing by the glass wall. They're very hard to see.
Yes, there's one guy in a coat. He's kind of hairy with like big ears.
I think there's a spike. Those are spikes.
Do you have a name for him?
Okay. It's going to make more sense written out, but it's Lagajev Kuer.
What?
LGAIFKEWR. It's LaGuardia, JFK, and Newark together.
I love it. Perfect.
Okay.
That'll look great with a bunch of apostrophes in it.
It looks better written down than it does said.
That's great. Well, Cyril walks past Lagaj. I shouldn't have opened that up again.
Lagaj Vikur, is that better? Yeah, Lagaj Vikur is better. Yeah.
He walks past this guy carrying presumably everything he owns in a pair of suitcases. And as he walks through this busy terminal, he rounds a corner and starts to descend deeper and deeper into the lower levels of Coruscant society. And
very Metropolis.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And he gets
very much so.
Mm-hmm. He gets in this elevator and looks out the window into the sun. And as it descends down, he is just becomes completely shrouded in darkness.
That's sort of 1 hour of sun a day.
Literally, yeah. And the look on his face, his shoulders are like slumped like Charlie Brown, and the light just like totally goes out of his eyes as he's in this elevator. This is like his worst nightmare coming to life, that he has to come back to Coruscant.
And the sun rising is such a reused motif throughout Star Wars, starting with Luke. And I think like having the sun setting on him is his dreams are dying as opposed to his dreams are beginning.
Oh yeah. And I think it's a bit obvious in the show too, but I think Tony Gilroy has very much said that Cyril sees himself as the romantic hero. So it's very, very pointed choice, like you said, Alex, that they connect him to the sun. Again, goes back to Luke. So who is the hero? So
also, just we've talked before. Like just the brutalist architecture is just mostly one. Like that's just London. But when you put it in a space context, it suddenly looks futuristic.
Yeah, then it becomes the most depressing place on Earth.
Laszlo Toth is not responsible for building the lower buildings of Coruscant. Maybe he is.
He could be.
You never know.
Adrian Brody will show up in a Star Wars at some point. That feels like just a matter of time. He'll do his Rastafarian character.
He'll get banned from both Star Wars and SNL. We do not endorse Adrian Brody's behavior.
No, absolutely not. Back into the scene, he descends down to level 91 of Coruscant and morosely walks to the door and steals himself for whoever is on the other side. And as the music hits its crescendo, we meet one of the show's greatest villains, Edie Karn, played by the incredible Kathryn Hunter. And
the best.
She gasps at the sight of Cyril at the door, and he can only choke out one word to her: mother.
Mother.
The grimace on his face when he says that, like he's trying not to meet her gaze. The fact that he says mother. It's both very Norman Bates, but also
Yeah.
like very, very like formal. I mean, that word choice, it just tells you another detail about their relationship, I think.
He called her mom once and got that slapped out of him.
I believe it.
And then Edie slaps Cyril and pulls him in for a tight hug, which just tells you everything you need to know about
As he
this
just stares
relationship.
to the middle distance.
Bear hugged by the most important woman in his life, unfortunately for him.
Would we say he has a Michael Bluth, Lucille Bluth relationship with his mother?
She treats him more like a buster.
That's true, yes.
Yeah, I think that's probably the closer one for sure.
He thinks he's Michael.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
I don't care for Cyril. I love all my children. I don't care for Cyril.
And she has no other children.
Yes.
Yes.
I love Edie so much. Kathryn Hunter is an incredible actress. Her Wikipedia picture is this incredible photo of her playing Hamlet.
Oh, yes.
Which is just great. I would love to see that someday.
It sort of feels like she came out of nowhere. I mean, she's been around forever, but I feel like she just had a big breakthrough over the last couple of years, at least for big name directors.
I think she's been on stage a lot, and in recent years has started acting more on screen. Because she's in this, she also shows up in Poor Things.
She was in
as
Macbeth.
The brothel owner. Yeah, she's in Macbeth.
And of course, we can't forget our most important appearance.
What?
Megalopolis.
I forgot she's in Megalopolis. How do you feel about Megalopolis, Devin?
I still haven't seen that one actually.
Oh.
You can't. The only way to see it is on a United flight.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the only place right now that has the rights to air it is on a. It's not released anywhere. He refuses to release it online or do a physical release. So I guess it's streaming on some airline.
Yeah, you have to do the roadshow screenings with him. Speaking of Edie, Devin, how do you feel about Edie and this little glimpse of her that we get to see?
Yes. Well, I do think it's a pretty perfect introduction to her character in that you can just tell how she feels about Cyril. I guess, do you guys feel that hug is comes from a place of genuine affection or more possessiveness or even just trying to make Cyril feel bad about not being a good son, basically? Just how do you guys interpret
I think
that?
the slap is you didn't call enough.
Yeah.
Not that you fucked up.
Sure.
As a son of a Jewish mother, it's maybe not as much slapping, but it's I love you, but you let me down in some way. And that is where the emotion is coming out of. I think the hug is genuine.
I think they're both genuine.
Yeah. Well, the slap's definitely genuine, but I think the hug is I think she really loves him. I don't think I think she just doesn't know how to love him.
It seems like she's extremely lonely here. She doesn't have anybody. Yeah. We get little glimpses of their family relationship as the show goes on, but what we see is not a loving family environment for either of them. She's been down here on level 91 of Coruscant with nobody to keep her company. And actually, even she pushes people away. In the background, there's a little old lady watching this scene play out, and Edie tells her off and says scram before she brings Cyril inside. And the door closes, and it sounds like a prison door, shutting him in. So she is alone, but she's pushed everybody away from her, including her son, who now has no choice but to come home to her.
We'll offer free therapy if anyone wants to talk about their mother issues on Andorks at any given time.
Perfect venue for it.
But then, do we want to talk about the other star of the scene, the little nosy lady across the?
Yeah.
Do we know who that actor is?
No idea. She's out of focus.
Yeah.
It's hard to see her, but she does great eavesdropping acting. She's just standing there almost the whole time, peeking her head around, what's going on over there? Who's that handsome man at Edie's door?
No. She knows who this is.
You think?
Yes. She's been told numerous times by Edie about how well he's been doing at Prelux Morlana, and then you don't ever see him again. He's too busy there, and then she sees him, and no, they've got a long history. The next spin-off series will be about this woman.
What's great is after she slaps him, he doesn't make eye contact with her again. She slaps him and he just holds his head there he's been through this before, and he's just completely dissociating in order to get through these next couple days.
Speaking of getting through the next couple of days, should we go back to Back to Aldhani.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Unless we have more ED talk that we want to save, but we'll have many months of ED talk coming up.
It's not enough.
It's never enough. No.
I do genuinely just love this performance so much. Like, this is, we say this a lot on the show, but like, this is the kind of thing like we never really get to see in Star Wars, like somebody's domestic home life or lack thereof.
And Kathryn Hunter is like the closest we'll get to like a human Yoda. I said, like, I think she like, I don't think she would take offense to that. Like, I think she leans into like the weird sort of like impishness, especially in like Macbeth. She like plays those parts very physically. I think she'd be very happy to be compared to a Yoda type. She's the most alien of humans, I guess is my point.
Yeah, definitely. But also, as soon as you meet her, you understand exactly why Cyril ended up like this.
Yes.
Like with this person as his mother. That's how you end up being a sniveling little fascist, is when your mom treats you like this.
What's the Stavros Halkias joke of just like, yes, every minority has overbearing mother and a weird obsession with food. It's like, that's not a unique minority experience. That's all of them.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's the Kathryn Hunter experience.
I do remember when her character first showed up, there was like some article that was like, is Andor being anti-Semitic by like having an overbearing Jewish mom? And I was just like, isn't she an overbearing Italian mom? That's what I thought.
Yeah, she could be Greek, she could be Turkish, I think Iranian, yeah.
Her guilting, I can say, is there's a bit of Irish in there. I know.
Like I said, it's the minority experience.
Yes, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She's Greek, right?
Kathryn Hunter?
Yeah.
I think so.
I'm looking at, oh wow, I'm not going to attempt to say her. Kathryn Hunter is her stage name.
Okay.
Okay. I'm not going to, with all due respect to Kathryn Hunter, I do not want to butcher this.
Oh yeah, that's a real Greek name.
Ekaterini Hadjipateras. That's the best I can do.
That sounded great to me.
Oh.
That sounded pretty close. I'm not going to say you got it 100%, but pretty close.
Ekaterini, come on the pod. So yeah, should we go back to Aldhani?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we come back. Cinta is treating Cassian's blaster burn. Cinta goes into the corner to get some medicine, and Cassian takes a moment to hide his nice little tchotchke in his food. What's it called?
His Sky Kyber.
Thank you, Sky Kyber. Cinta has a whole box of looks like a giant green injector from Reanimator that she sticks into his arm.
But she still says they want to conserve pain meds, which I thought was another small touch of relative realism, and also maybe showing that maybe they don't want to like waste it on this guy. Is what she's getting at. So
they've also been out there for a while, and I don't think they're getting regular restocks of materials.
No, there's no Walgreens on Aldhani to
soon
pick
there won't
up
be, soon there won't be Walgreens anywhere.
Yeah, it's just another thing that just shows you how shitty being in this crew has been for them. That like they don't even have like Tylenol to give when you're performing medical operations.
Weird tangent. My grandmother worked at the first Duane Reade.
Okay.
Which was at Duane Street and Reed Street in New York. That's why it's called that. And was offered a partnership and turned it down. So I could have been like the heir of the Duane Reade fortune.
Wow. We need a time machine just so you can
Grandma,
get access to that.
take the stock options. There's a really great photo I have of her. I'll put it just smoking hard at the pharmacy section of the Duane Reade in like 1963. I'll make sure I'll post it somewhere.
I love that. I'm sure it was health cigarettes.
Yes, the
prescription cigarettes.
The cigarettes that are good for you. So then there's, as Cassian is sitting there, there's sort of a re-meeting of the team where they sort of go over and evaluate him. Taramin asks Vel how she knows Cassian. She says he comes highly recommended, which Skeen immediately catches and realizes that Vel does not know him, as she previously implied.
Yeah.
She just says the response that she knows that they need him, and that's all she'll say. Skeen asks if she trusts him with their lives, and Vel snaps back that it's her choice to make. Namek, our sweet little boy, immediately says he can tell us Clem is committed, and he wants to believe in the belief that in the cause. And Skeen does a comical eye roll.
Taramin does too.
Yes, but Skeen's is like, oh, brother, this guy stinks.
And Vel, for her part, looks really guilty when she hears that, because she's the only one who knows for sure that he's not committed to the cause.
I'm not in the slightest.
This is a good question. Do we want the cover art for this episode to be Edie or Skeen's eye roll? I feel like we're gonna get a lot of Edie. We're not gonna get a lot of eye rolls.
Sure.
But we can.
Yeah, we'll have another big Edie episode
Next
coming
week.
up soon, so we can do the eye roll on this one. But do you think that when Nemec says he can feel how committed Andor is, do you you eye rolled?
Yes.
do we think that he's sensing something in Andor about like his potential future, or do we think that he's just truly naive and falling for Andor's cover story?
Do you want me to go into a Disco Elysium tangent? Because I will. Don't make me. You've played Disco Elysium, right?
Yeah.
Did you play like the Marxist side story?
I didn't have enough stats to make it all the way through.
There's like this weird part where it's like if you believe in Marxism enough, you can like break the laws of physics.
Yeah.
So I think like he's so dialectically materially aware, he picks up on the materialism around him like the Force, but it's a materialistic force.
He's such a dreamer. He can like travel through the astral plane
Exactly.
and see Andor's future.
I think he just wants to see the best in everybody.
I feel like in this moment it reads as maybe more naivete, but as they get, not to like get ahead of ourselves, but as Nemec talks with Clem more throughout the rest of the arc, I think that like his naivete turns out to there was a reason for it. So but I think in this scene it definitely reads as just like, oh sweet little Clem Nemec. So I'll go with a naivete for this scene.
So yeah, Skeen rolls his eyes. Tamarin continues to push Vel, and she just sort of says she trusts him, but does she not do a good job selling that line.
But also, it's kind of to the point where like it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
like everybody realizes like this is what's happening. If that's what you need to hear
to get going, then I'll just say it.
But I think Taramin does trust Vel, so even if he's not buying it, I do think he's committed enough that they're like, this is the only way forward now.
I think so, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And just we've seen rebel infighting before. We see it happen in New Hope. We see it happen in Rogue One. But there's something about just how desperate their situation is here on Aldhani, how on the land they're living and how precarious their existence is. That does make this feel more dramatic. That like there is a real risk of like this mission falling apart in a way that it doesn't quite feel that way in any other rebel camp that we've ever been a part of.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying, Devin, you were talking before about like the Kurosawa connections. Is there any other sort of movies that you feel remind you of this, or sort of where do you sort of see this episode in this story in the lineage of cinema and storytelling?
Yeah. Well, obviously the whole arc is structured like a heist movie, but at the same time, it's also much less like Rusteen was saying, it's so much less flashy than I kind of associate with heist movies. Like the conditions they're living in, it's not a fun heist. It's like a fight for survival heist, know. Mm-hmm. So I am kind of drawing a blank on a specific movie. You're
good. I was just opening the door. Yeah.
I guess maybe William Friedkin Sorcerer, just in the whole idea of like like a military unit and like kind of the how unpleasant it looks. But that's probably the one that most comes to mind.
The desperate people all outside the reach of society put together into a deadly job that they know they stand no chance of surviving and yet have no other options but
which is funny because
to.
Sorcerer got so fucked over by Star Wars.
Yes, it so did.
I'm imagining a Star Wars version of cruising right now.
Set on Coruscant, of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
The underground clubs, some death sticks in there.
Yeah, with Sleaze Bagano.
Yes.
Shepherding Al Pacino through the Coruscant underworld.
Just opening the big like Star Wars art book, and it's just Tom of Finland. Anyway, on that note, and talking about going back to Coruscant, we see, is there a name for the limo ship, Rusteen? Is there a special?
I don't think so. Or no, there must be. I can't find it right now.
No, just the Space Chrysler.
Yeah, exactly.
The Space Chrysler lands at as I did some research online, apparently it has an official name.
Yes, it does.
Which is Luthen's Galactic Antiquities and Objects of Interest. I don't know if the Luthen's is technically there, but I feel like
it's not.
I know, but it is. It's missing a particle. Then
yeah,
it just needs you can't just call the store antique. It needs to have a name to it.
Get rid of the. It's better.
Yeah, that's fine. This is the first time that we've seen. So yeah, it's the first time. Sorry, I buried the lead. It's Mon Mothma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so since you guys have been watching the whole show, remind me, this is the first time we see her in the whole show?
Absolutely.
Correct?
Yeah.
Yes. And it's also the first time we see Kleya, I believe. Yeah.
We meet two.
Yeah, we see. I was gonna go because we see the back of Kleya's head, and then we see Mon Mothma in focus. So I was gonna say, let's start with Mon, and then go to Kleya in order.
Okay.
But is this Mon? Is it Montauk?
Yeah, Montauk. Exactly.
Meet me in Montauk.
Mon Mothma, played by the great Genevieve O'Reilly, who I think fans will know was cast in this role for episode 3, but had all of her speaking scenes cut. You can see them in deleted scenes, and I think you see her in like the background of some Senate scenes in Revenge of the Sith, but she then got to come back to play the role in Rogue One, which felt like just like a fun little nod to fans.
It feels like that's such a weird thing to be like on the books for like 9 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like 11, I guess, 11 years. To be like, we're going to bring you back in 11 years for the next one.
Well, the way she talks about it was that they approached her with like, do you want to reprise this role? Like, you missed out on the opportunity to really like be a part of the movie before, but like, what if we make it up to you by bringing you back now? And she agreed to do that. And Rogue One is in development at the same time as Rebels, so she reprises Mon Mothma on Rebels as well. But after she films Rogue One, she says that she was ready to put the part behind her. And
makes sense.
And she recalls in an interview the moment when Tony Gilroy called her about coming back on board to Andor, because he says working with Genevieve was just a drive-by for him on Rogue One. He talked to her, I really liked her, and I'd seen her other things she did, but I didn't know how good she was. And I very rapidly figured out that she was a raw diamond. She could do all these things people hadn't asked her to do. You start to realize what actors can do, and you lean into it. How far could she go? We kept making it deeper as we went, and we realized how cool she is. And so she tells him, listen to me, I think you're the best, but I'm really not that keen to step into another expositional version of this woman.
Yeah.
Which I think tells you why she wanted to put it apart. Because in Rogue One, she really is just there to tell Jyn, like, you can't go on the mission. And then she goes on the mission.
Yeah, it's a glove shido appearance.
Yeah, and I do have something I want to say about that, but continue, Rusteen.
Yeah, but then the way Gilroy got to her was by saying, I promise you, I'm interested in her. Let's find out who this woman is. And so that is the promise that Gilroy made to Genevieve before embarking on this show. And looking back on what we got, I think he succeeded at that this is now one of like the most important Star Wars characters, I feel like, in a way that before she was just a glup shido.
Yes, I totally agree. And the fact that, on one hand, like having a character who beforehand was, such a nothing, but is a recognizable name, I guess like in a lesser writer, that would seem like it's just like a cynical, oh, we got to get at least one recognizable Star Wars character in here. But like Andor it builds her out so much, like it makes her into an actual character and a real person. And I just think that's kind of remarkable that it did that with a character that was so easily dismissible beforehand. So not to repeat what has already been said, but yeah, that I just think that is Mothma such a compelling character.
It's the crazy like Domino's meme of just like getting cut out of one movie to maybe the performance that's best defined your career down the road.
Yeah.
I'm actually looked it up. So the woman who originally played Mon Mothma, Caroline Blackiston, was 50 when she shot Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
And Genevieve O'Reilly is like 48. So like it actually worked out like perfectly age-wise.
Yeah.
That has completely unintentionally that they like ended up with her shooting it at the correct age that she would be for Return of the Jedi. And
that was part of the funny coincidence of going from episode 3 to Rogue One too. That like she similarly met the right age at those for that time jump as well. So we are so lucky that she was born when she was, that she was able to take advantage of that and get to play this part.
We'll be talking a lot about Mon Mothma for a long time.
This is just the backstory, and we haven't even talked to what the content of this scene is yet.
On the other side of the glass is Kleya Markey, played by Elizabeth Dulau, looking scary as hell.
Yeah, she's like standing watch like a sphinx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I always felt she kind of had like a little bit of like Princess Leia hair. Like it's not full buns, but it feels a little bit like she's going to the same hairdresser.
Yeah, sure. And I do think it emphasizes her glare, the way she wears her hair up.
Like it looks like she has like eye black on under her eyes.
Yeah.
She's seen some shit.
Yeah, the fact that she just plays the part of like kindly shop assistant, but holds that menace inside of her.
Yeah,
is remarkable.
It's interesting rewatching season 1 after season 2 because like Kleya's a pretty good character in season 1, but season 2 is when she really reveals all of that context has a different effect on watching these scenes.
Yeah,
knowing how the history of the relationship, which you can infer from the season 1, but season 2 really makes it all text.
And it's one of the beautiful things about TV is that you start the show with these minor characters, and after you cast them and you start seeing what they're capable of, then you can start to write to those strengths.
Yeah, you're like, oh, is Kleya our second protagonist? Like the second protagonist of the show?
Yeah, exactly. Like that a character like Kleya and Wilman and Lonnie all get these really small moments in season 1, and then they're able to write to them in season 2, is just why TV is such a remarkable medium that can evolve over time in a way that other mediums don't get the same opportunity to. And a bit of backstory about Elizabeth is that this is her first on-screen role. She auditioned for Andor as a recent graduate of the Royal Academy of Dramatic Art in London, and was reading opposite Stellan Skarsgård at Pinewood Studios in order to like get the part, which just sounds so intimidating to do. Yeah. Obviously was very nervous about working with Stellan, especially because her character's scenes were almost exclusively only with Luthen, but it says the two quickly created a friendly and relaxed dynamic. I imagine Stellan is a good coworker to have as an actor.
Oh yeah, I mean, what a dream to have that as your main partner for your first really big project. Yeah.
One interesting thing though is that she actually filmed her scenes with Vel first. Those were her first days of shooting, and so it took a while to get to shooting with Luthen. And then poetically, Dulau's last day on set was also with Vel.
Interesting.
Which is a cute little bit of poetry there. And she says that while she felt her character's role as Luthen's assistant at the gallery is cultivated to make people underestimate her, Dulau noted that her power came from being overlooked. She and Skarsgård agreed that Kleya was very formidable, with Skarsgård stating that Kleya is the one that is fierce and is twice as tough as Luthen, which I think we get a hint of here in that death glare.
Yeah, and I mean the way she like instantly clocks the driver and like moves to like kind of, and the way she just flips like a switch, the way she slips into the like polite assistant role to like get him away from Mon. It's just like it really tells you like all about how her character operates just from this scene, which I think is kind of becoming apparent. That's a strength of the show. It's just telling you what its characters are all about on the surface from the beginning, but then diving in deeper as it goes on.
Yeah, but both of them are very good at putting the mask on.
Yeah,
when need be.
Yeah.
And these are such this is such a minor moment when we're first watching the show, but that's one of the beautiful things of crawling through it at this slow pace is that I've never really noticed how on top of it Kleya was from the very first moments, that she's the one who clocks that there's a new driver here and that Mon has arrived.
So going back to the scene, she points out she has a new driver. Luthen asks if he's Chandrilan, and she goes,
presumably.
You can't tell a Chandrilan from 15 yards out. Is there anything about Chandrila that we want to talk about, or is that?
It's just like one of the planets that like she was just from. I feel like we don't really see anything of it until Mon Mothma starts becoming a bigger part of the show. So I think like it starts to show up in like some comic books and stuff, but I don't think
according to Wikipedia, it is the homeworld and birthplace of Ben Solo.
Sure. Okay.
What?
He's a major character.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of those, we wrote a place and then Pablo Hidalgo fills in the blank of the Mad Libs of fill in.
Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
We just assume that Pablo Hidalgo is there's a one-man team of Pablo Hidalgo coming in. So yeah, Luthen sort of approaches from the back of the store, and then we see him, like everybody else, once he's in frame, just puts the mask on and just gives a big grin and a big opening hug, and God, I love him so much.
It's the exact same smile he was practicing in the Fondor last week.
And then we see Mon come through a fun little spinny door entrance, which reminds me of just like the old rotating ones, but it like rotates after you're done, which is fun. We also were introduced to Exmar Chloris.
Oh, is that her driver?
That's her driver, because he will be very important in like season 2.
Yeah, yes. But
again, we're setting that up now. Mon apologizes to Luthen for being so late. Luthen, again, just luxuriating in silk, goes, free your mind. This is a place where time stands still. It's hard to be surrounded by so much history and not be humbled by the insignificance of our daily anxieties. Just good writing.
Which is definitely like a routine that he has. This is his intro.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Although part of me wonders if that is like, there is some clue word in there. Of like, the insignificance of our daily anxieties, where both of them are like, actually very concerned about their daily anxieties.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to kind of ask what we think the symbolism of her coming in at this moment is, and coming in like, oh, I want to buy a gift. It's because it does feel like they're using the event of her having a new driver to play dumb, as if they've never been, as if they don't come here all the time. Like, he introduces Mon to Kleya as if they don't know each other, I think, to sell a cover story to him.
You don't think she's going in there to talk about the recruitment of
they are,
Cassian?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
what's the cover story of why she's going there now?
Yeah, exactly. That they're just hiding the fact that this is a place she's come to frequently.
If this was the last driver heard this conversation before, they're repeating it.
They've gone through this exact conversation before.
Yeah. Luthen reintroduces Kleya to Mon and reminds her, we often refer to the gallery as Coruscant's unofficial temple of patience, which again is a very good dramatic irony of what this place actually is. But I guess Luthen is very patient. I guess he deals in decades, in centuries, not days.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think there is a really good metaphor of him being surrounded by all of these antiques. And we find out that so many of them are relics of wars and civilizations that have been destroyed and reborn. He has surrounded himself with all of this history of conflict and crises, and he is rebuilding. He is offering those things as commodities. He's surrounding himself with the thing that he is constantly thinking about, of how do the societies fall, what happens to societies, what needs to be built from them.
And in some cases, as we'll see in later episodes, literally using the Antiquities as tools in his spycraft.
He also reminds me a lot of the antique dealer in Man in the High Castle. Have you ever read that?
I didn't watch that or read it.
Read it, but there's sort of I think there's a long lineage of genre of like the man who owns an antique store is having the like secret materials that the protagonist needs. That there's some historical object that is hidden that only they can find because they understand the context of it.
And I think it also makes sense that somebody who is a student of history would be so heavily involved in the revolution. Like, I know that's a way that Tony Gilroy has talked about himself, is that he's a student of history. And I think somebody who has spent so much time around these artifacts can't help but draw parallels to the current moment that we are all trapped in.
Yeah, and the Man in the High Castle, in the storyline, like Japan has won the war, and one of the characters acts as an antique seller, selling American memorabilia to the new Japanese politicians who are in control of it.
Okay,
like he's like, I can show, like, selling you back, like, this is, you'll never see this like pure Americana, like selling the material back to the people who have controlled it. I think there's a good parallel there of Luthen is selling back to the Empire all of the damage it's caused.
Yeah.
How many of these societies fell at the hand of the Empire or the Republic that is now selling them back their own legacy?
And it's a great cover to have of like, I need to go to the far reaches of the galaxy and shift through all your trash to look for artifacts and not terrorist weaponry.
Not the weirdest fucked up passport you've ever seen of. Devin, do you have any thoughts about Luthen as we discussed him? We had a lot of Luthen talk last week.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we really only see him in the mask in this scene. But I mean, for starters, I think just like getting an actor of Stellan Skarsgård's caliber in this show just again shows like how serious they were about making this a real drama. And I feel like Luthen really brings out the best of the showrunners, their writing, because I feel like most of the memorable dialogue in the show, it really comes from him, and I think he's the one where they're able to kind of talk about their about political ideology in the most fascinating terms. I mean, obviously everyone always quotes the I burn my life for a sunrise I'll never see, because it's a great line, but I also think it just really gets to the heart of like why you join a revolution or try to make the world better. It's not because you think it'll personally make your life better. It could, but you're doing it to like make a better world for the whole world and for future generations. And I think like it's just such a perfect sentiment about the world we live in. So yeah, that's why that speech really speaks to me, and why Luthen's character resonates with me. And I think it's fair to say he's probably the greatest creation of the show and of Tony Gilroy when it comes to Star Wars. So yeah, that's very superlative, but I think the character backs it up. So.
Yeah, definitely.
Him and Dexter Jettster.
They're both knowledge brokers.
That's true.
Well, I guess like Luthen is great, but he's also amongst a show that's great. Per capita is the best hitter in baseball. Babu Frick. In the sense he's the only good thing about that movie. Like Luthen is like Luthen's on the current Dodgers team. Like he's Shohei, but he's still surrounded by a bunch of really good players. Babu Frick is going up with like a AAA team.
Babu Frick was like Shohei when he was on the Angels.
Exactly, yeah. Like from an efficiency usage, I think Babu Frick might be up there.
There's a case for that.
Yeah. Dating this episode of when we're recording it to talk about the Dodgers, but it's fine. I am not a fan of the Empire in Star Wars, but I'm a fan of the Empire when it comes to baseball. Go Yankees. Head back to the fake conversation between Moth and Luthen.
Yeah, she says she's here to buy a gift for her husband for Day of Days.
Yeah, I looked up. I did look up Day of Days on Wikipedia, and it just goes mentioned in episode 4 of Andor. It's a Chandrillan. I assume it's like a birthday,
something like that.
Yeah.
A Chandrillan custom, one of our many. And Luthen says, yours is a rich history. And Mon kind of scoffs and says, well, that's a kind way of putting it. Which is hinting at Mon's very complicated relationship with Chandrilla.
Right from the beginning, which is just good, efficient storytelling, laying the groundwork for that in her first appearance on the show.
You think the senator of the country would be like, we have too many holidays. Fuck them. I guess
it's just another day with another parade.
Yes. All parades have the right to exist. Curtis Lewa should have said, we need to have the Chandrillan Day of Days parade, and that's what New York City needs.
Ask him about that at the next debate.
Alex, stop dating the episode. Immediately make a reference from this week.
Now we're really dating it. We'll still be talking about the Dodgers and Shohei in February.
But hello, Mayor Curtis Lewa. We look forward to your role in New York City in the coming weeks. So yeah, Luthen has put away a few items of interest from Mon. He mentions her husband's interest in military artifacts. He says, let's start with the oldest item he has, a Utapaun?
Yeah.
Utapaun monk cudgel, which is such a fucking funny, is it a cudgel that monks use, or is it to cudgel monks?
I think a cudgel that monks would use.
Okay.
My reading of that grammar.
But it could go either way.
It could.
We use this to beat up monks.
Utapau, for people who don't know, is the planet that Obi-Wan goes to in episode 3, where he fights General Grievous. Those big, scary, tall, blue guys.
Well, I looked it up. So I guess there's 2 major aliens on Utapau.
Oh, okay.
There's like big guys and little guys. And I think it's sort of like the original Time Machine. Like it's like the Eloi and the Morlocks.
Okay.
Like there's the ones who are above that are really tall and beautiful, and the ones that are tiny are like short and the workers. So yeah, look them up. They're the Powins and the Utai. Let's see if you want to look this up. There's some real big guy, small guy happening here, where apparently they hate each other. Yeah, the Powins, who served as the modest patrician class on the planet, and the Utai, who served as the labor class and were humbled by their nature, and they hate each other. Yeah, the Utai were commonly known as, quote, shorts. because they're shorts.
Yeah,
'Cause
they're
short.
little like frog, lizard,
So, like tortoise heads.
gecko guys.
Didn't they also, wasn't one of the Palins part of like the Obi-Wan show, but they like radically redesigned them because their heads were too big?
Yeah. It's one of
The Grand Inquisitor,
Yes.
exactly.
Rupert Fiends.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have like really big heads, and they made him have a slightly more normal head.
Yeah, he didn't want to have a fucked up head.
I mean, it's basically just, it looks like it's just originally just like a Nosferatu mask.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What if you put a Nosferatu mask on the top of your head and then wrap your head in a scarf? Is basically how you get this.
Yeah, that about sums it up.
Which makes me think, looking at these guys, that they're cudgeling the monks. These guys cudgel monks.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
If they have a role called the Grand
that.
Inquisitor, I think they cudgel monks.
Well, the Grand Inquisitor is an empire title.
Yeah, but I assume that they still, if you find a Grand Inquisitor on Utai, I think they cudgel monks.
Sure.
So yeah, Luthen says, you see the ceremonial variety in many places, but this is the real thing. It's a unique gift for most, but it's a treasure to the true, I wish I get the pronunciation correct, aficionado. Like he says it. He says
Aficionado.
No, that's how you say the regular word,
Yeah.
but Luthen says it in this like incredible way. It's like aficionado. Like he like doesn't go Italian, but he softens some syllables in a really great way. But yeah, while these sort of it's dated to the 8th archaic settlement, the bronze-covered melee weapon's barrel of the cudgel has spikes on two sides and ends in a pyramidal head, while the handle has a rib portion at the top and a series of inset opalescent squares lower down. It's a cool-looking sword, or it's a cool-looking cudgel.
Yeah, her husband, if he's some kind of weapon aficionado, I'm sure this would be a lovely gift for him.
I'm sure there's a lot of Easter eggs in the background.
Yeah, I have a list of the Easter eggs that we see in just this first part of the scene.
Do you want to go through a few of them? We can spread these out. We'll be back in here a couple times.
I'll talk about them as they show up, but in this episode, we do get a lot of Glupshido references throughout Luthen's shop. Because that's one of the things about this show is that people talk about it as being so unlike the other Star Wars shows that are more overt about the references that they make to, the other properties. But Andor still does find ways to make those same references and give fans things to latch onto. It's just subtler.
Yeah, subtler for sure. I guess like a good way to view it is maybe like it definitely takes place within the Star Wars universe, obviously, but like it feels like it takes place in the world, but it doesn't like it like opens it up, like it doesn't feel like it's just following like the same set of like main characters of the galaxy. It really feels like we're getting glimpses into another part of this galaxy that we haven't seen before, which I think is obviously one of the strengths of it.
Yeah, it feels like production designers just got to go wild with like, what are all the fun things we can hide around in Luthen's shop. There's a Kashyyyk clarion, which is this like windy, ornate horn. So that would be a Wookiee horn.
We call them a shofar.
A shofar. There's something that looks like Mandalorian armor. The Wikipedia is a little skeptical that it's actually Beskar. I have no idea why it looks like Beskar to me. There's Kalikori, which is a Twi'lek heirloom that's something of like a family tree and is a major part of Rebels with Hera and her family. My favorite thing in here is this Sith armor helmet.
Yeah, my eyes go right to that. Yeah,
which is from the era of like Knights of the Old Republic. It's not like an exact piece of armor that you might have seen in there, but
I assume the sticks are ornamental. Otherwise, he got shot in the head with like multiple arrows. I assume that's the other option.
No, this is just like Sith intimidation.
They come out with giant sticks on their head.
Well, it's like a big like headdress.
Okay,
like if
I feel like it's more ornamental than.
Yeah, of course. This is something that like fucking Darth Bane would have.
Yeah. And I mean, it does kind of look like both Bane's helmet, and it very much like looks like a precursor, like an ancient precursor to Vader's helmet.
Yeah, absolutely. So. There's also a Sith chalice in the background. And in another scene, we'll see like a Jedi holocron and a Sith holocron. So it's interesting how much like Sith artifacts Luthen has. I think maybe tells you what type of artifacts people on Coruscant are interested in buying.
And then maybe Luthen is, I mean, obviously he's he's a good guy, but he's walking a bit on the dark side to be a good guy.
This is what the George Lucas Museum will look like, though. It's
exactly.
The most obscure things.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yep.
There is also a Gungan energy shield.
Let's go.
A nice little nod to the prequels. And then one thing that's like a new thing is this double-headed kind of, it looks like an Aztec like double-headed snake.
Yeah.
But then it has two
blue.
Rancor heads on it.
Okay.
So that's like taking a real thing and making it Star Wars, which is a classic bit of Star Wars design there.
So sorry, crucial thing was that Luthen puts on his really fancy white antique gloves, which is a nice little moment.
It is a nice moment, but my wife is an archivist, and archivists actually, their hobby horse is that you, in 9 times out of 10, you don't wear white gloves when handling rare things.
Interesting.
Because gloves have like a different texture to them, and they can rip and they can shed fibers onto things, and as long as you like wash your hands, your natural oils aren't that, dangerous.
Oh, interesting.
So it's just a thing that in movies, and it's a thing where like anytime people see you like handling a rare book, they're like, why aren't they wearing white gloves? And it's because like white gloves would tear the paper more often than your fingers will. But he's playing the part of he's not an actual archivist.
Well, that's a good question. I guess like, obviously we find out Luthen's backstory later, but I guess like how much training and interest do you guys think he actually has as like an archaeologist or historian? Do you think it's purely a cover for him, or is there like in another life, if like there wasn't an empire to topple, is this what he would be doing?
I think there's definitely a possibility that in another life he could be doing this, but I think that this is a means to an end, because when we see the flashbacks in season 2, I think that he finds these historical objects to be a great tool for money laundering is, I think, the key reason why he has this line of work.
I mean, that's the art market in general, is just money laundering.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, there's basically a thing now, which is like most modern art you see in people's apartments or homes are fake. So people will buy, like, if you spend millions of dollars on a piece of art, you basically put the artwork in like a giant like barge.
Oh yeah, like in Tenet.
In Tenet, that's what Tenet is like. So as long as it's like always in motion, you don't pay any state tax on it. Because it's never technically in one country.
Yeah.
And then you have a fake version of that painting in your home on display. It's like, I can think of a better metaphor of like art, of like the real one is hidden in a box where nobody can ever see and is only a tax write-off.
Abolish billionaires.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yes.
But I think there's also like, I think to your question of like, there's an overlap of like having to move materials from distressed areas is overlaps with his ability to like move things around.
Definitely.
Stereotypically of like, and going to find these things are usually places that are destitute or falling apart. Like I think there is some overlap of what the roles of being. I think he does this job good because he's good at his other job, which have very similar overlapping needs.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely.
But while this sort of conversation is happening, Kleya basically goes like, I need to get Exmar away from this conversation. So she asks if she could show him anything, and he says he can never afford it, but she says there's no harm in looking. They just got new coins.
She's like, this guy looks like he would be into coins.
You can literally see him like looking around, and she like pulls him aside to like focus on me, not that, which I think she uses that play a little bit a few times in the series.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on me, not what's going on. What do those coins look like?
We don't
know because that's next week. Wait, do we ever see the coins next week?
We might.
I don't think we do. I think we never see the coins.
Wow, that's disappointing.
Yeah, I don't want to set anyone's hope about seeing coins next week, and there's no coins. But yeah, I think that's our 7 minutes.
Yeah, that's our 7 minutes. Devin, any final thoughts on these 7 minutes, these handful of scenes that we got here?
I guess it's more integral than I expected, both these 7 minutes and because they pack so many character introductions into these 7 minutes. So yeah, honestly, I'll just say revisiting these 7 minutes made me want to revisit more of the show. So I think that's just a testament to how good it is. So I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I keep expecting we're gonna hit some block where I have to apologize to somebody. Like, sorry, there's not that much going on here. But it hasn't happened yet. We've recorded with a bunch of guests, and there's always something new to talk about.
Yeah, I think you bring up an interesting point, which is I think the other week Siobhan was talking about how up through the first few episodes, it's predominantly been like the only female characters are either Andor's girlfriend or Andor's mom.
Yeah.
And in this one episode, we've introduced Dedra,
Mon, Kleya.
Vel, like all of these major female characters, which I think is a real strength of the show, is that there are these major female characters who don't sort of fit into those classic Star Wars stereotypes of princess.
Yeah.
There's not a ton of room for female characters in Star Wars that are not sort of...
Either you're a princess or you're a Han Solo.
Yes.
Like, those are kind of the only two types of women that are allowed to exist in general. Even Rey, in a way, kind of becomes a Disney princess.
Technically a princess.
Exactly. So...
But we don't talk about that.
Yeah. Well, Devin, thank you so much for joining us here on Andorks.
Anything you want to promote?
Yeah, anything you want to plug?
On your way out?
Oh, sure. Just find me on /film.com at Devin Meenan. Even got a couple Andor articles in there, as Rusteen said. So that's where you can find me. You can find me on Twitter at DevinM626. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully I'll be back on the show sooner rather than later.
I'd love to have you back.
Yeah. Is there any particular arc or character that you would love to come back for? You mentioned Narkina earlier.
Yeah. If we're talking season 1, probably there. Then looking ahead to season 2, this is so far away, but I think I did mention I do really love the Dedra Krennic confrontation in the last arc.
Sure.
There might be a little bit of, we might have to do like a March Madness to see who gets the finger pointing on the head. I think a lot of people are going to make claims for that one.
Enough. Yeah, I'm sure that's a highly demanded one.
We'll auction it off for charity.
We're not saying no. We're just saying that there might be some
also
fighting involved.
That is literally like 2.5 years away.
Yeah, that's true.
Which feels crazy to think about, but we're getting there. I mean, we're already, towards the end of episode 4 out of 24. So that's like 1/6 of the way through.
Feels like we just started months ago.
It does. Well, thank you, Devin, for joining us. Everybody listening, please be sure to rate and review and subscribe on your podcast platform of choice. Follow Andorks on all the social medias. And give us a review. Give us 5 stars.
Share with your friends.
Share with your friends. And we will see you next week for part 5 of Aldhani. See you later, dorks.
Bye, dorks.